CBS and Viacom finally decide to put a ring on it. Jason Isaacs and Jonathan Frakes talk Star Trek Discovery Season 3, and Michelle Paradis talks about a little bit of canon. Let's pour it up! Okay, so obviously the big news today is the announcement that CBS and Viacom have officially reached a deal after a weekend-long kind of battleground fight of officially signing a deal for a merger between CBS and Viacom. They decided to put a ring on each other and remerge after their initial split back in 2006. Now, this is fantastic news for the Star Trek franchise, and some folks, I think, are excited because they're going to be getting rid of the, quote, JJ-verse stuff and the 25% rule stuff and all that other stuff like that. I've already talked a little bit about my theories in regards to how the different changes of Star Trek is going to be taking place post a Viacom-CBS merger, but just to kind of quickly recap on that piece is I don't think anything is really going to aesthetically change at all. I don't think that they're going to change any of the in-production television shows. I think all of the plans Secret Hideout and Alex Kurtzman have moving forward are going to continue, except that now they're probably going to expand Secret Hideout's control over Star Trek from beyond just television studios with CBS to the Paramount film production stuff, and actually to start combating the other major sci-fi, science fiction, fantasy franchises on the big screen as opposed to just for streaming on demand and cable. I would be very surprised if CBS and this new Viacom kind of company, which is now I think called Viacom CBS, God, they've got to get better at naming these things. But I'd be surprised if they don't still maintain Alex Kurtzman's overall creative control of the different productions happening within CBS. Now, it is possible that they may try to just utilize specific directors for different things and just have Alex Kurtzman be the creative kind of director piece to kind of guide the show a little bit. Kind of like a, I guess like a Rick Berman type person, and let other directors step up and do different things in that way. Or he may go as deep into that process as possible. Who really knows at this particular point, but I would be surprised if they try to bring in a whole new person. It makes sense just to use Secret Hideout. They have such a great deal with them already. And Alex Kurtzman does have experience managing films. Whether you like them or not, the fact is that he does have a resume of movies. So they may stick with him because they may like working with him. But I guess time will tell on that front, but overall, this is exciting news. That means that there is a potential within the next year, 2 or 3 years, we may actually get some Star Trek films that could potentially feature all of the characters that have been cast that we've had for the Prime timeline with the IP rights that CBS has kind of been holding on to and not really wanting to let go of. But now that they're both the same company again, they'd be more than happy to try to get those kinds of productions started. So I'm excited to see what the next giant conventions are over the next few years and giant announcements are going to be for Star Trek on the big screen. The next little bit of news here is that Jason Isaacs did mention while he was at Star Trek Las Vegas that he was in the process of speaking with the producers of Star Trek Discovery, most likely Michelle Paradis and Alex Kurtzman, about his possible return in some form of fashion as Prime Lorca. Now, Jason Isaacs has already returned as Prime Lorca in the Star Trek Online Age of Discovery expansion, where he did lend his voice to that particular character, but it is entirely possible that he could return as Prime Lorca. And a lot of people are saying, well, that would kind of be weird because we assumed he died, and it'd be weird if they come up with some way to get him back onto the show mainstream, but he may not be trying to get back onto Discovery mainstream. It's possible that he may be trying to get onto a short trek, maybe that deals with what happens when Prime Lorca arrives inside of the Mirror Universe. That would be a lot of fun. Maybe he doesn't just immediately die and get stabbed in the neck. Maybe he tries to blend in and tries to make things work. We saw how Mirror Universe Lorca tried to blend in and make things work in our Prime timeline, but it'd be kind of fun to see how Prime timeline Lorca worked in the Mirror Universe. I think that would be really fun, possibly even our first two-parter short trek that we could do. So I think there's definitely a lot of possibilities there, and I'd be curious to see if they're able to bring him back for something kind of fun. I'd be very excited to see it. The next little bit of news is just a quick tweet from Jonathan Frakes where he just expresses his love for the reunion of filming on Star Trek Picard, and also both in front and behind the camera, and also now his sudden return back to Star Trek Discovery Season 3. So he's been in everything. He was in Discovery 1, 2, and 3, and now he's in Picard. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be in the booth filming an episode of Lower Decks here soon. So that's really great. I think that's great for him. I think it's great for Trekkies to have such an amazing Trek alumni kind of behind the scenes, kind of making things happen. I think a lot of the episodes that he has filmed overall for Star Trek Discovery and hopefully for Picard, but for Star Trek Discovery in general, have been really well done, and I really like them quite a bit and well received by fans. So I think his directing style is something that we really appreciate as Star Trek fans, and I'm excited to see whatever he's done for Picard, and then obviously now for Star Trek Discovery Season 3. And the final bit of news today that I want to talk about was an interview with Michelle Paradise from Star Trek Las Vegas, where she was talking a little bit about the issues with Discovery and Canon. And this is probably one of the most politically correct answers I've probably seen from somebody regarding this topic, but it's hard to really just come out and say that we screwed up the first season and a half of Star Trek Discovery, but really right now they're trying to focus on saying that Alex Kurtzman is kind of the shepherd, kind of the keeper of the flame, so to speak, on the history of Star Trek to allow all of these other shows to kind of continue their own productions and then reach back to him and say, hey, are we doing anything wrong? And for him to be like, yes or no. I don't know how I feel about Alex Kurtzman being in that particular role. I think that there's a couple of other people that they could possibly put there, but that's who's there right now. I assume he's just got a bunch of favorites from the Memory Alpha Wikipedia. I'm just kidding. No, but that's what they're trying to say here, and I think it's kind of a politically correct answer of trying to imply, like, yeah, we kind of screwed the canon up, and now we've got somebody here specifically watching that so that we don't try to screw it up too much more than what we already did. And it's hard to come out and say that. You can't just say, like, yeah, those first season and a half, we totally screwed the pooch there, and we've got to just try to correct that, which, again, as I've talked about before, I think that they are doing their best to course correct what happened with Star Trek Discovery. The first season's production was a nightmare, and they did their best to try to fix everything as much as they could in season 2 just to get it the hell away from the TOS era and put it in the future, and now we have this whole brand new kind of show concept going on there. So I'm excited to see what they're doing there, and I appreciate the fact that they're acknowledging this, even if the answer was a little politically correct and trying to be as sensitive to the topic as possible. I appreciate at least the acknowledgement. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the rumor rundown. So there are no really big rumors going on right now. There was some kind of weird rumor that came out from Star Trek Las Vegas about Jason Isaacs supposedly shitting on the writers for Star Trek Discovery and saying that they actually didn't know what the hell they were doing with his character, but that was quickly shut down by Jason Isaacs himself on Twitter. So honestly, there's no really big news kind of rumor-wise happening. I do feel as though now that this merger has happened with CBS and Viacom, we are going to get an explosion of confusion of different rumors happening around the web. So I guess we'll just sit here patiently and wait. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the comment of the week. This week's comment comes from user A. Francini, and it says, watching you talk super sucks. Advice, show more clips, get that face off the screen.
No, it's fine. This is much better. I like it this way. I prefer my face to be completely hidden.
No, but really, thanks, A. Francini, for your expert advice. I am definitely going to be taking that under advisement for someone who doesn't even do YouTube or has any kind of channel. For sure, definitely knows the most appropriate thing to do for a channel like that. But, hey, listen, if you don't want looking at this ugly mug or anyone's ugly mug while they're talking, you should go check out the Trek Central channel, because they don't have anyone's ugly mug. Captain Jack keeps his handsome devil face behind the camera, so you can go enjoy them over there. But in this case, you come over here, I guess you're just going to start vomiting as soon as you start the video. Anyways, guys and gals, that wraps up today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Tell me what you think that this means for the Star Trek franchise in regards to the CBS Viacom merger. Do you think this is good news? Do you think it's going to be bad news? What do you expect to see over the next several years moving on into the future? And what do you think about the idea of Jason Isaacs returning as Prime Lorca? Throw that stuff down below. Let's get the conversation started, and I'll catch all of y'all next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!